Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Dr. Iyabo's Tea Time. Tea Time with Dr. Iyabo. April 21st, March 21st, not April. I'm 1 month ahead of myself. Hi, everyone. Hi. Hi. I said April 21st. I'm already fast forwarding my birthday month. My birthday month is next month. I'm going to be 25 years old next month. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Tea Time with Dr. Iyabo. Thanks so much for tuning in. Yes, so my blurry videos the last 2 times, I think were due to Instagram. I'm blaming it on Instagram because I see that a couple other people who did lives after me also had, let me redo my hair, also had blurry lives. So I'm not sure. Oh, somebody else is April 8th. Okay. Nice. We're lots of April people. Instagram is at it again. So what does that mean, Dr. Folake? Does that mean that it looks good or it looks blurry? Which one does it mean? So you said Instagram is at it again. Am I looking good? Motes, I look 25. Let me say thank you to that. Oh, wow. There's many April people on here. Wow. There's so many April people. That's amazing. Yeah. Wow. Well, you guys will have to, in front of me, actually, everything looks fine. Wow. Why there's so many April people? That just means that like attracts like, right? That means that I knew Dr. Jumoke was April 30th. I'm April 27th. Actually, my husband is April 4th. So, yeah, my husband and I have the same birthday month. We also got married in April. So we have a lot going on in the month of April, lots of celebrations. But there's so many April people here. Donna, Ellie is April, Dr. Jumoke, Lafifs, let me see. Who else? Somebody else just said they're April. April 1st, Anita Kwansal in, I can't pronounce that, in London. There's so many April people. Well, everybody welcome. Imagine your birthday was on April 1st. Ha ha ha. I know, that would be April Fools. So, well, it's my tea time with Lennox Cupcakes. I don't think she's on yet. I don't see her. Marianne must still be baking cakes. Maybe that's why she's running late. Maybe there's a cake in the oven. Marianne, why are you running late? It must be that you have a cake in the oven. Well, welcome everybody. Today we're talking about a day in the life of an entrepreneur. I've been talking to entrepreneurs all month. The first month I spoke with them. My live was with, oh, you're there, Marianne. Sorry, Marianne. I thought maybe you had a cake that was still baking in the oven. Okay, so request to come on live with me then. Please request to come on live with me. Let's start because I have a lot to discuss with you and to ask you. So the first Sunday, I spoke with Alexandria of FW Style. The second Sunday was with Yewande, my namesake of Lady Boutique. And then today I have Marianne of Lennox Cupcakes. And I think they're all friends. I know Yewande and Marianne are good friends. And I didn't even know that until I invited them to my show. But I think they're all friends. Yewande and Marianne and Alexandria, they're all friends. So this is why they say you should choose your circle, right? So yeah, Marianne is requesting. Let me bring her on. This you should choose your circle carefully, right? Oh, distinctly Virginia is also April. There's so many April people on here. So many April birthdays. Hi, Marianne. Hi, how are you?
I'm fine. I've been here. Hi, good to see you. I've been here.
Oh, I
I've been here since the beginning.
Oh, really? Sorry, I
Yeah.
didn't know. I said maybe you had a cake baking in the oven.
Not on a Sunday.
Oh,
It wouldn't
okay.
be me baking anyway. No.
Oh,
How
okay.
are you?
Good, good. I'm so excited to have you here today. So, everybody, welcome Marianne. Marianne Simpson, right?
Yes.
Is Simpson your maiden name or your married name?
So maiden, and then my married name is Ladako.
Ah, I was going to say that I think it's Ladako.
You know
Okay,
my
but
husband,
so which
right?
one do you go by, or you just go by both?
Both,
Both,
both.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like me. Some people still call me Okuwabi. Some people call me Ojikutu, which is I have three last names. Some people call me Webzo. So what does that say? Hey, Modupe, super proud of you.
That's my best friend from childhood that joined from
Oh,
Nigeria. Yeah, yeah.
oh. So for like a show it, huh?
Yes,
Oh, that's so nice. That it's lovely when friends support each other. Welcome,
absolutely.
bestie. Welcome, bestie. Okay, so Marianne, so everybody, welcome to Tea Time with Dr. Iyabo. Marianne is the best baker in the world,
Thank
says
you.
me.
Thank you.
And you guys know I'm very picky. You guys know I'm very choosy about things I like and things I don't like. But Marianne's, I don't know how did I first meet you and taste your cake? I think you were at somebody's conference and you brought cake.
Oh, I think it was one conference with Stella. Do you think it was that one?
Yes, yes, it was Stella's
With
conference. Yes, it
women's
was.
women doing it afraid.
Yes, it was
Yeah.
Stella's conference, Women Doing It Afraid. You brought some, I don't know if it was complimentary or, but you brought some cupcakes. I tried it.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
she ordered them though.
I tried your cupcake and that was it. I was hooked
Oh,
because
thank
people
you.
who know me, I'm a sweet tooth. I love my cakes and all of that. But and that was maybe 3 years ago. I don't remember. But since
Yeah.
then, guys, I've been ordering all my cakes from Marianne. All the
Thank
celebrations,
you.
even my wedding. Even last year, Marianne baked my wedding cake. Yeah.
That was a big one for us because it's like wedding cakes, and I wasn't gonna mess up your cake. It was like, and I think it was like in the mid, yes, it was in the thick of the pandemic. So I had a really small team, and it was like, listen, this cake, nothing must happen to it. It has to get there. Everything must be right. Yeah, yeah.
And
That
you
was
did
a
it
year ago.
perfectly. It was
Thank you.
simple and classy, just like I like my things. It was simple, classy, and it was high quality. The cake on the outside was nice, and the taste of the cake inside was just moist. And I'm telling you, I love my husband very much. He's like my best friend and my everything. Okay. So if my husband loves Marianne's cake, and I'm telling you that you can just imagine how important Marianne is to me because my husband loves his cake.
Oh,
So,
thank you guys.
yeah, but honestly, I'm not just patronizing you. I honestly love your cakes and I've traveled a lot worldwide. I've tasted many cakes and yours is still top three for me because it stays moist and it's fresh and it's consistent. There's some
Thank you.
cakes you order that sometimes they will be, they will suck. Yours is just consistent. So, guys, before we even dive in, make sure you guys should just stop now and everybody on this live should go and follow Lennox Cupcakes. And they should
Thank
make, if you're
you.
in Atlanta or in the surrounding area, she delivers and her service is excellent also. So it's not
Thank
just
you.
about the quality of the cake, but her service is excellent. There was one time we kind of had a mix up with orders,
Yeah.
and Marianne didn't even, she told me that she was going to replace the cake. We kind of had a mix up with orders, and I was so impressed with her that day. She sent me a replacement cake, and she said I shouldn't worry. So, it's just, she has a good personality. It's just for me, I'm very picky. I'm very hard to impress people who know me. But once you impress me, I'm going to just be all over you. So, Marianne, well done. So, everybody
I
follow
appreciate that.
Lennox
Thank you.
Cupcakes. And then now tell us about yourself. Tell us about
Okay.
your journey, how you
Yeah.
started, everything.
All right. Well, thanks for having me, Dr. Iyabo. As you said, my name is Marianne Simpson. I go by Marianne Simpson for my business. I have been in business since 2008, and it just started as a hobby where I was at home, when I was pregnant with my son. I developed a craving for cake, and then I figured I couldn't eat a whole cake. I decided to go online to look for recipes for cupcakes, and that's really how the journey began. So I would bake, and of course, I couldn't eat all of the cupcakes I was baking, so I would take some to church. I would share some with my coworkers and with my neighbors. And that's kind of how, I kind of was testing new recipes, and I found out that it was not only something I enjoyed doing, but it was really therapeutic for me, because at that time in my life, so many things were happening. So new baby, just different things in my personal life that kind of seemed to be going, haywire. But in baking, I found that, I could release all the stress and just do whatever, be creative. And I loved it. And, my sister noticed that I baked a lot, and she said, well, why don't you make it a business? And I had a job at the time. I wasn't really thinking about doing a business. And she encouraged me, and I started this business, a side gig. And I was doing my work and then the business. And then after 2 years, I got laid off from that job and decided to do it full time. So we've been full time now, baking cupcakes, selling cupcakes for, so the business has been around since 2008, basically. And it's been growing steadily from there.
Wow. Okay. So 2008, that's 13 years.
13 years this August, yes.
You've had Lennox Cupcakes for 13 years, but the name was different before, right?
No, it's always been Lennox Cupcakes.
Oh yeah,
because like from the get-go was Lennox Cupcakes, because it started from my house on Lennox Road. My sister actually came up with the name when I was in the kitchen. We were just going back and forth with names, came up with different names. Some existed already, but Lennox Cupcakes didn't exist, so we went with that one.
So what did you go to college for? Did you finish college?
I did finish college with a business degree, and I also have an MBA. And I'd been working for a nonprofit for like 9 years when I started my business. So I kind of had a steady job, steady career that I was advancing in. But this, again, like I said, was just something totally different from what I did at my day job. It was just, a creative outlet, and then it kind of took off from there.
So if you hadn't been let go of your job, do you think you'd still be working that job today?
So I wasn't, when I think about it, as a kid, I would always do all kinds of businesses. It's a great question, because I don't know. I feel like I found my calling. This is what I like to do. But then I also loved my job. So it would have been difficult. Like, it was something I saw myself kind of straddling. But I think in the long run, because my family were entrepreneurial, I would have gravitated anyway towards the business, because this is not my first business. I've actually had other businesses, other brick and mortars. Like, while I was at this job, I actually started a spa. So I've had, but this one is the one that has, hey, my sister's on here.
Tell us about the spa, though. We want to
hear that.
So
Dr.
Iyabo is following your story, Marianne. So you graduated with a business degree. You got an MBA.
Yeah.
You were at a job, an employed job for 9 years.
Yeah.
And then you started, you look so young though, but all this sounds like you're, but anyway, you don't have to tell us your age.
Okay, no problem.
You look younger than everything you're saying here. So you must be really happy. I tell people that the fountain of youth is happiness.
I am. I will say I'm not at all displeased with this life. So yes.
Yeah. The fountain of youth is happiness. But so you started Lennox Cupcakes after 9 years of working at your job because you were let go. But even before you started Lennox Cupcakes, you had tried some businesses that didn't quite work out.
I did.
Tell us about those.
So the one that sticks out, so we have a family business, my husband and I, so that's been going on. But then the spa was something that my friend and I from college, we thought, man, it would be a nice idea for us. We love getting our nails done. Let's go open a spa. And then one day she was like, I'm joining the army. And I was left alone with this spa business. And because I'm so strong-headed, I kept at it. And then until one day I was like, listen, this thing's not working out. I don't know how to do nails when my nail techs don't show up. It's a hot mess. So, so that one was, that one just died a natural death.
How long did the spa go on for?
Maybe about I want to say maybe like roughly a year. It wasn't that long. It really wasn't that long. It was lovely setting it up, working with an interior decorator, making sure it was like the type of place I would want to go to, comfortable chairs. That was fun. But the actual running of it, it didn't work out.
So did you start it with somebody? Or was it
So the idea of it was my friend and I from college. We kind of thought about it, but then when she took off, hey girl, when she took off, so I was left with I kind of finished it up. I continued along the path, but it really wasn't right for me.
Okay, so I'm already getting a lot of lessons that I'm writing down here. Was there any other business you tried? Because you said you tried a few. Was it just this spa one that didn't work out?
No, what I mean was like, so growing up, I would do some, buying and selling, like selling shoes, selling, purses, selling candy when I was in high school and I wasn't supposed to, those kinds of things.
Okay.
But like as a grown up, I think the spa definitely was the biggest one that I launched and then didn't succeed at.
Okay, so let me ask you a sensitive question today. So looking back at when you started Lennox Cupcakes in 2008, on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you that you started Lennox Cupcakes?
20. Because it's natural. I can do it in my sleep. It just came naturally. And I will tell you this, starting out, because I'd had the experience with the spa, and then I was newly married. I didn't want to put a lot of financial pressure on my marriage, or, I just wanted to start it with as little money as possible. So going into it, it was like, listen, I'm not borrowing any money. I'm just going to start it with what I have. And it didn't take much. It was really, stuff I already had that I started with. I had my mixer, I had my fridge. I started from my home. I didn't start big like I did with the spa, where I went and rented a place and, did all that. So this one, I feel like I've grown into it organically, and it's a really natural fit. And when I look back at things I enjoyed doing as a kid, I remember like even when I was growing up and then I wanted to go to college and I was telling my dad I want to study food and nutrition, and he's like, what's that? Nigerian parents, it's like, what are you going to do with that? So I've had an interest in food for a very long time. It's just like everything is manifesting. It's been years in the making, basically.
I keep nodding because I have already like 5 to 10 nuggets for you guys already. But let me ask you another question. So how long did it take you to be able to, okay, I don't want to say replace since you were laid off, so you didn't transition from your job, it was sudden. But how long did it kind of take you to start making close to or the same money as you were making in your employed job with Lennox Cupcakes? Or even if it wasn't the same, but how long did it take you to feel Lennox Cupcakes is a salary, I can survive on this with my husband and our family?
Okay, so because it started as a side business, I never touched the money even while I was working. So I never felt like I didn't feel a gap, let's just say, because there was always these funds I could draw on, because when it really wasn't something I planned to do. It was an additional benefit. I really wanted to buy a purse. I never ended up buying the purse. Really, that's why I started, selling cupcakes, because I didn't want to use my money from my salary to buy that purse. But I just kept saving it, and it really grew. Like in the 2 years, so I never felt like there was a time when I didn't have, I didn't have enough. There were, of course, I had to start watching I don't know if I'm answering your question.
You are.
But I did have to discipline myself as far as like, certain habits, and I, had to make certain changes. But I would say, relatively quickly, it happened quickly.
But how were you able to not touch the money? Your husband was providing?
No, I had a salary from before, remember? When I was working, I had a salary, and then I had this extra income from Lennox Cupcakes, which I didn't need to touch because I already had my salary.
But yeah. I thought you said you were let go of first before you started Lennox Cupcakes.
No, I had Lennox Cupcakes for 2 years before I got let go.
Makes
sense, yeah.
Makes sense now. I missed that part. Okay, guys, so I said something wrong. So Marianne had already started Lennox Cupcakes before she was let go. Ah, okay. So then during those 2 transitional years, you didn't have to touch it because you were still
No.
working.
Right.
And you
Right.
still had enough time to be able to work on Lennox Cupcakes even while you were full-time employed.
Yes, because
How did you
Lennox
do that? Tell us about that.
Well, that's good because Lennox Cupcakes was something I did on the weekends. My hours were really limited for Lennox Cupcakes.
Okay.
If on my website then I was only open from 6 to 8 at night, right? It was
And you
weird.
had a shop. You had a
No, I
bakery.
didn't have a shop then. I
It
was
was
doing
in
it
your
from my
house.
home.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was, my hours where I could deliver cupcakes was 12 to 2 or 6 to 8. So 12 to
Very
2
good.
were the times I could take a lunch break and go run quickly and deliver someone's cupcakes, or 6 to 8 because I said, after 8 o'clock, I'm not going anywhere. These are the times I have for my business. I would bake it, right, before
Mm.
work, take it to the office with me. And then people are like, how come you're always bringing cupcakes to work? I said, don't worry about that. And then
Mm.
on my lunch break, I'll go make deliveries, or in the evenings, that's when I would make deliveries, either one, right after work.
Smart woman. You're smart. Yeah, very, very smart. Okay. So before you tell us what your day looks like, which is the real
Yep.
topic for today, guys, please start posting your questions. Ask me questions. Ask Marianne your questions. Marianne is an entrepreneur that I want a lot of you to emulate. I gave you Alexandria 3 weeks ago. I gave you Yewande last week. Today it's Marianne. These women really impress me. They really inspire me. And I really want you guys to emulate them. I'm going to start giving you the lessons that she's told us in just 15 minutes. But please start typing your questions. Start typing them. We'll try to address all of them. So the first lesson that I got from Marianne was her spa business failed because she said, I don't know how to do nails. She said it with a giggle and with a smile, but she said, I don't know how to do nails. I didn't understand the business, so the business failed. She said it with a smile on her face, but that is a huge lesson. This is something I say all the time. The only reason that my pediatric practice has been able to grow and be sustained is because I know everything that happens in my office from the time the patient is even in their house. Before they even choose to be my pediatrician, I know how to get them to be my pediatrician until they leave. If nobody shows up in my office, I'm able to do everything in my office. I can check in the patients, I can check insurance, I can draw blood, I can give vaccines. I know all the vaccines. I trained all my staff. I knew everything about my office and I loved managing the office. I knew everything about it. That's why my practice is surviving. The reason why a lot of practices don't survive is because guess what? Doctors only know the medical side of medicine. They only know about treating patients, their stethoscope and the clinical part. Doctors don't know anything about HR. They don't know anything about insurance verification, claims. They don't know anything about all that. So they let the office manager handle it, and the office manager runs their business down. And Ronke is clapping here because she knows exactly what I'm talking about. That's another powerful entrepreneur. Ronke, my friend, owns a daycare. And I know that Ronke knows everything that happens in her daycare. If nobody shows up in her daycare, she can cook the food, she can burp the baby, she can hold the baby, she can do everything.
Right.
She can do the billing. So that is one thing. And that is the same thing, Marianne, as do what you love as
Yeah.
soon as you can. What do I
Right.
mean by that? It's not always possible for us from day one of our career to do what we love. And I group those two things into purposeful work and non-purposeful work. We often have to do both in our lifetime. We
Yeah.
often have to do both in our lifetime. You did your non-purposeful work in your employed years. It was serving you, it was making money. You were
Right.
not unhappy there, but was
No.
it your purpose work? Probably not, right?
No.
My non-purpose work was when I was working like a robot in my office, seeing 40 patients, 50 patients, 30 patients. I love being a doctor, but it wasn't quite my purpose work. My purpose work is teaching. I'm a teacher and I'm a healer. So now that I can do that, I can teach and I can heal people, not even healing just as a medicine, healing. Now I just feel like, oh, I'm living in my purpose. So, guys, there's nothing wrong with starting your career with non-purposeful work, because we parents don't want our kids in our home. Rennie and Moni know that I cannot, once you're done with college, out, go and start making your money, even if it's non-purposeful work, figure it out. But the truth about life is happiness comes when you can find your purpose work. Marianne found her purpose work with baking, right?
I did, and I love it.
If she had told her parents that she wanted to be a baker before she went to college, they would have said, "Ha, Marianne, Modupe," it's your name. They would have said, "Modupe, come, sit down. Let's talk."
It's not happening.
My daughter says she loves photography. I'm like, go and do the photography. I'm not the parents that will say, photographer. Don't let them hear outside that you're a photographer. Oh. I said, go and do the photography, because if that's what you love, how do I know that that's not what, so as long as it can pay your bills. So that was the first lesson. Some of you would have tried to make that spa work by force.
Yeah, I had to cut my losses. No, I mean, it was not working out. And the funny thing was, I was thriving at my job, and then this spa thing was kind of like almost like a pain. I would go there sometimes. It was just not running the way I would want it to run. I remember going there one day at my lunch break, and it was closed. And that was before, cameras and stuff like that. And I'm like, wait, this is like 12 o'clock. We're supposed to have been open since 10, and this place, the person that was supposed to open wasn't there. It just wasn't working. And it was really time to cut my losses. And I was sad about it, really sad, because I think at the time, a lot of people knew that I was doing this. I had friends that had come around, and it was, it just wasn't a nice feeling to tell people that, this thing that I put so much time and effort into didn't work out. But I had to do it because it really wasn't working, and I didn't want it to be a financial burden on, like I said, on my marriage.
And like I say all the time, why do you care? Why do you care about what people think?
Right.
For me, I don't take things personally. I don't really, honestly, I just don't care what people say. Too many women care. You didn't care. You went for your purpose, right? There are many lessons here. I'm going to say one more, then you're going to tell us what your day looks like. Actually, two more. Marianne said the baking job was therapeutic for her. That is just, I don't know how to tell you how important that is. If you guys can please write that down in your journal, that your purpose work that you're doing for God's glory, God has made it in a way that it's going to be therapeutic for you. Not only is she making me and my husband happy and my stepsons and everybody happy with her cake, even baking is making her happy.
It is. I derive so much joy. You know what? The funny thing is, sometimes people in my life think, oh, you are working so hard. You are working. I can't begin to tell you that I don't mind doing it. Yes, there's other things. Now I have a team. But the actual work, I enjoy it. I love the creativity. I love thinking about it. Sometimes I'll go earlier than my baker just because I want 2 hours to myself and the kitchen. No big deal. I don't have to be there, but it's just there's that element of loving what I'm doing, creating, and knowing that the end results, someone is going to enjoy it. I'm going to put a smile on someone's face. So for me, it's that pays my bills.
That is key. You see how she's smiling? She's exuding real joy. You can tell she's not faking it. She looks younger than her age. If you were to guess Marianne's age now, she's close up on the camera. She looks like she's 25 or 28. But that's because she's happy. She's therapeutic. Whether they want to say she's just baking cakes, nobody cares about what other people say, right? It was therapeutic. Parents, I know there's some parents on here. My parents, everybody here, I'm not going to bring out names. Let's let our kids do what is going to be therapeutic for them. They can start off with their non-purpose work. Let us get them to their purpose work. Then the other thing she said was that she was laid off. The laying off was actually God's call on her life. That's simple. That's all. That's that third lesson. Her laying off was God's call onto her life. Some big disaster that you are going to feel embarrassed about sharing to the world, and all of that is God's call on your life. Like for me, I believe my divorce was God's call on my life. If I didn't get divorced and I wasn't single for 10 years, I wouldn't be positioned today to help all these hundreds and thousands of women who follow me, who reach out to me for dating advice, who watch my YouTube videos. How would I have learned what it feels like to be single in middle age? My divorce was my calling from God. It was my destiny. It was what God wanted me to do because he positioned me on this earth that, Iyabo, you're going to go forth, you're going to experience those different stages of life, and you're going to use your story to help other women. You get it now? Okay.
Yeah.
So those are the 3 lessons. Marianne, tell us what your day looks like. And as you tell us what your day looks like, give women the truth of entrepreneurship. You don't have to paint a rosy picture. It's not easy.
Yeah.
Let them know what you have to do.
My day varies, you know. It starts really early. I'm now an early riser, and I didn't always wake up early. So I usually wake up anywhere between 4:40 and 5 o'clock because a few times a week I join my sisters on Zoom.
When do you go to bed? I'm going to stop you there.
I'm in bed at 8 o'clock. I don't do nights. I don't have to fall asleep, but if I'm not in bed at 8, I'm sad. Like if I see 8 o'clock and I'm on my feet, it's a problem.
Marianne, I have to stop you for a second, okay? I like using the phrase, I don't care. If you guys follow me enough, you already know now. I mean no harm. I don't care about whether you eat vegetables or fruits, or you eat the most organic foods, or you shop your vegetables from Oprah's farm. I don't care, okay? I don't care if you're running a marathon. Claire is saying Iyabo likes sleep. I don't care if you're running a marathon, if you are the biggest gymnast, or you're the biggest person who runs, or you can jog on the spot for 15 minutes. I don't care. If you are not sleeping, women, you're going to be unhealthy. If you are not sleeping, you're going to end up with a lot of chronic illnesses. I'm telling you, if you're not sleeping, you won't be able to do your work during the day. Even caffeine will not be okay for you. You will develop chronic illnesses by your 40s, okay, even by your 30s, if you are not sleeping at least 7 to 8 hours. I'm serious. So if you're on this show and you're thinking of being an entrepreneur and you are not sleeping, you're sleeping only 3-4 hours and you can't sleep, you need to see a therapist and or a coach to help you figure out your sleep. Because if you're not sleeping, you're not going to be able to function as a human being, and you're going to end up with illnesses that you're going to have to nurse for the rest of your life. You can carry on now.
Yeah, so my day starts pretty early. A few times a week, I do a Zoom workout with my sisters. So they're one in Canada, one in Lagos. So 3 times a week, we do our Zoom workouts together. The other days, then we're on our own at 5:45. So not everybody can, you know, we commit to the 5:45 a.m. because we work out and then we catch up after the Zoom. So it's an awesome time. My house is quiet.
I'm not, you know what? I'm just going to calm down. I will stop stopping you. No, because I keep doing this because I'm showing women that to be a successful entrepreneur, self-care is number 1 to 10. You have to exercise. You have to sleep. And you said sleep first, right?
Sleep. Because so I'm very unhappy if I don't get my sleep. Everybody can tell, you know, around me. Just go to sleep. And I catch up. I don't cheat myself, because if there's a day that there was a day recently that we were at work until past midnight, and I kept telling my team that, listen, this is crazy. Like, I don't do this. And they were like, but you know what? I made up for it the rest of the week. But, you know, typically I'm in bed early. Some days I might be in bed around 7ish, and I'm like, whoa, this is a good day.
Me and you.
Right, because I'm either reading, but I just like to be in bed. You know what I mean? And then fall asleep. But so workout. I have a 4-year-old who'll be 5 soon. I drop her off at school, and then my day really gets started. Once she's taken care of, she's at school, and then I can pretty much decide what it is that I need to do based on, like, I usually have on my calendar, like, non-negotiables, things I really must do that day. And then everything else, you know, I'm very flexible on. So I'm there to support my team if they need me, or, you know, create or do whatever it is. But, you know, certain days of the week, I'm, you know, ordering stuff. It really depends. My biggest task is making sure that we make things that people like, and then also making work easy for my team. I'm obsessed with making their work easy, because if their work is easy, my work is easy. So I'm always looking for new ways, you know, for them to do things, or if it's new equipment that we need to buy, or if it's, you know, just whatever it is, processes that we need to put in place. So that's usually where I spend my time, just making sure they have everything that they need to do their work. And then, you know, if I'm there past 3 o'clock, it's usually a problem. I'm not very happy, because, you know, I don't want to be in traffic, so I try to head home, and then start the day again. Yep. It's pretty easy. I mean, straightforward. I don't have, you know, I'm very flexible. Like I said, if something happens, like we had a big order recently and we were there for a long time, then I'm flexible enough to do that. But yeah, typically I'll, you know, end my day early, come home, make dinner. Then, you know, if my kids want to hang out and their dad puts them to bed, that's fine, but I'm in bed.
I keep nodding because there's a lot I want to say. Wonderful, Marianne. 1 second. Everybody, there's many on you on here live. Ask us questions. I know there are many of you. The reason why you've logged on is either that you're thinking of starting your own business, or you already have a business and you even want to do better. There's a lot of women on here who already have businesses. I can see them, but they still want to learn more. Ask us questions. Give us your comments. And then there's some of us older women, you know, women in our 50s who have kids who are adults and who are up there. And we're on this live to also hear gems that we can pass on to our kids. So please ask us questions. Dr. Iyabo, how does one contact you for an Instagram live session or a Zoom session? Send me a DM, love. Send me a DM and we'll talk about it. Okay? But please ask us questions. I'm going to go on to ask Marianne something else about the routine. The routine she gave us is very simplified, right, Marianne? It is very simplified. I'm an entrepreneur. I know that that's a very simplified routine. But why? It's because you've been doing it for a long time, and now it's like second nature to you, right? So I want you, while I'm talking, I want you to try to reverse back to when you first started, how your day was then, and for the highs and lows you had. I know it's been a long time, but for you now, it's very easy. It's for me now, I have all these businesses, my coaching, my milestone, but everything is like easy peasy to me because I have it all in order. But try and think about when you first started, because that's what women want to hear. A lot of women on here, I just started. But as Miriam is thinking about it, guys, this is why in my coaching is all inclusive. Even Marianne has done my coaching before. She knows that I'm not going to start talking to you about entrepreneurship or business or money until I figure out what's going on in your personal life. I have to, because I know that entrepreneurship is not going to succeed. It's not going to succeed unless you take care of yourself, unless you're happily married, unless it's just not going to. So you can't, we're not like men that can compartmentalize their lives. Men do that quite well. In fact, not all, but most. They can compartmentalize their lives like, okay, this is my career, that's my home, I can do both well. It's hard for us women to do that. If your husband is not treating you well, or you're feeling lonely because you're single, your business is going to suffer. Or if your kids are not doing well, your business is going to suffer. So I always dive into the personal with women. So you heard what she said. She started off with sleep. She goes to bed early. If you're an entrepreneur and you're going to bed at 2 a.m. and waking up at 5 a.m., your business is probably going to crash at some point, unless you're a big, formidable enterprise and you have people who work for you, who are doing the job for you. Maybe you'll be okay. She talked about exercise. She also talked about, I had processes in place, right? It's the processes she has in place now. She's so organized. That's what makes it seem simple. But so now, Marianne, can you tell us, reverse back to when you first started? How did
Okay.
it feel? Tell us about your day then.
So there was a time that my business was very overwhelming because I did everything. I did, the baking, I did the deliveries, I did everything. And then, so then it seemed like a lot. And of course, over time I had to introduce, people to help me out. It was an elderly man came by one day and said, I can do your deliveries for you. Oof, what the biggest relief ever. I no longer have to do deliveries. Then I, was able to start hiring people. That there was some relief there. Just it was a lot in the beginning, trying to do everything, be customer service, be IT, and then, over time, I just learned to outsource certain things like my IT, or, hire certain people to help me out with my business. Even if it wasn't that I could have them full time, I was able to bring people in that could really assist me. And then on the processes side, the baking was a little tedious. And then my mom, you actually mentioned it on one of your lives because you weren't sure how I got my recipes. It was from my mom because once I went full time, we got a space at the mall, a temporary space at the mall, and then we were really growing really fast. And then, things were not going right because things, we would bake and sometimes it would come out right and sometimes it wouldn't. And it was my mom that said, listen, you have to have a recipe that anybody can do. And she gave me this recipe, and I promise you, it's hard to mess it up. It's really hard. Like, it's hard to mess it up. Let's just put it that way. And that made my life easier too. Like having those types of things in place where, I can just bring someone in and show them how to do it, and they can actually make it. So yeah, just introducing people gradually, that kind of helped ease the burden on me, because at some point I did feel very overwhelmed. And this was even after I had dedicated myself full time. It wasn't like I still had my job. I was doing it 100%, but it was a lot, from waking up. So I just had to figure out a way to have other people help me, whether it was with my children. No, my child, I had a child, but it was my child then. I did have help with him, like someone to help me, in-house. So yeah, that kind of helped me out.
Yeah. Delegate, delegate, delegate. Form a team. I've said this over and over on many lives, on many posts, on many YouTube videos. One-man businesses don't last. One-man businesses cannot grow to high 6 figures, high 7 figures. If you want a business that will be grossing 5 figures in a year, you can do a one-man business. But if you want a formidable business that will grow, you have to hire help. So let me ask you, so it says some comments. Folake is very open with her diagnosis of multiple sclerosis. She said that my chronic insomnia added to developing a chronic illness. Okay, she said, yes, work out daily. So guys, yes, lack of sleep actually causes massive inflammation in our bodies. I'm a doctor, I'm telling you. If you don't sleep well, your body is running on inflammation in all its cells. And then let me see, Eniola and distinctly Virginia and Titi Oyebade, they both have all similar questions. What was your day like when you worked a 9 to 5 and had the business in the 2-year timeline? Virginia says, what are some of the challenges you face or faced as an entrepreneur? Can you answer those?
Again, I was saying that when I had my full-time job, I carved out time specifically for the business. I had my business hours, and then outside of my 9 to 5, I would wake up earlier to get things done for my business, so that when I was in my 9 to 5, I was focused on that. Because like I said, I also didn't want to get fired at that job. I was very careful not to be fired. Remember, and that's why I know some people are like, oh, is her name Dukba, is it Marianne? I go by Marianne because when I started out, like, I would use my full name. And I remember picking up the phone one day, and it was one of my coworkers that picked up the phone. And in the whole building, I'm the only Dukba there. And she was like, what did you say your name was? And I was like, oh my God, Marianne. And that's my middle name. So, I had to find a way, because I was really terrified of being fired, because I didn't, like I said, I really didn't want this to be a burden, like my business or anything to be a burden on what I was trying to do in my personal life financially. So I tried to make sure that when I was at work, I was focused on work. I wasn't doing, yeah, sometimes I would bring cupcakes and, to work. I keep it in my office so that it wouldn't melt in the car. But I really did try to keep it separate. So if you do have a full-time job, just carve out some time. When is it that you can realistically work on your business while you do have a full-time job? And make sure that nothing you do interferes with that job. Because again, it's a source of financing. You might really enjoy it and you really don't want to be fired from that. And the second question, can you remind me what that second question
What are
was?
some of the challenges you face or faced as an entrepreneur?
So, lack of sales. I've had some times, when it just seemed like what I was doing wasn't working. When I moved to the location where we are now, we moved about 10 years ago. It wasn't like a bustling neighborhood. And so it was really hard to get people out. Like my online business was doing great, right? But the face-to-face, people just weren't coming in. So yeah, I've dealt with actually being in business and only selling 4 cakes in one day. 4 cupcakes, not 4 cakes, 4 cupcakes. Yes, the online business was
It's going to
going.
happen. Yeah.
So you have to prepare yourself and not be heartbroken by that. I was kind of broken by that, and I decided that maybe retail is not the way to go. I shut all that down and I said, listen, we're just going to be delivery only. And then after a while, I decided that, listen, if we don't sell these cupcakes, we're either going to give it to the police or give it to the senior center down the street. And once I decided that that's what we're going to do with whatever was left over, it freed me up to just produce. And if we sell, we sell. If we don't, well, the police is getting cupcakes or the senior center. And that's kind of like, for some reason, like, years ago, this was years ago, and then one day the police, they came, they were like, why do we have to buy cupcakes now? You used to bring it to us. And I'm like, well, we sell everything now. But, kind of make up your mind that no matter how it goes, this is your threshold. There'll be some good days and there'll be some not so good days, but are you committed to it? Are you going to keep working on it? And yeah, so those are some of the challenges I faced. There's a ton, like I said, in my old business, showing up and the employee wasn't there. That has even happened, like, we've had certain issues, but we've kind of figured out ways to deal with it. So things will come.
Okay.
We just have to deal with
Next
it.
question, Marianne. The questions are coming now. For like I said, when did you get a shop?
Oh, so I got a shop after I got laid off. There was an opportunity for me to go to the mall. Like that same year, I think I went from like, renting a space like to do my baked goods to actually having a store. So within the year that I got laid off, I went from being laid off to working on a commercial space because I just decided to go full throttle.
Okay. So guys, if your questions are not being answered, let us know and I'll ask it again. And then Chinyelu says, I have to be honest, I'm scared of the word delegate, and many women are. So Chinyelu, that's fine. Thanks for being honest. How were you able to release control of your resources in order to trust others, to believe and support your mission for your business?
So it starts with training until you're satisfied that they can deliver the results, and you really have to step back and let people thrive, because I feel like I was quick to possibly fire certain people, whereas I could have given them a longer rope and they would have been the types of people that I really would have liked to have within my company. So really focusing on training and making sure that you give them all the tools that they need, and of course have other things in place where you know that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing even though you're not there. I mean, now I have cameras and stuff like that, so that helps too.
Yeah. And Chinyelu, honestly, a lot of women go through that, not being able to delegate. And honestly, as women, that's one of the top 3 or 4 things we have to change in our lives. And I have it in my book. I say it all the time. You have to be able to delegate. You have to just trust and pray that whoever it is you're giving the job to will do it well. Like Marianne said, training is key. Do your due diligence, check their references, check their criminal record, train them well, give them maybe a few weeks of, what's it called? I forget, like the training period. Right. So I've done all sorts of things. In my 18 years, I fired a lot of people, like Marianne said. I fired a lot, but there's also a lot. My current staff that are with me now, many of them have been with me for years. Sometimes it takes a while to get the best team. it
Right.
takes trial and error, but once you get the best team, you just love them and you want to give them. My staff now, I'm telling you, I pay them so much. I just keep increasing their pay because it is very
That's
expensive to,
key.
yeah, it's very
That's
key
key.
because somebody else will steal them from your office.
Yeah.
There's always people looking for people who are already
Yeah.
well trained. If you
Right.
don't treat them well, somebody else will steal them. And I'm telling you, staffing and retraining staff is the most expensive thing in any business. Any
Yes.
business, whether it's a bake shop or a medical office. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, turnover and retraining staff is very hard. So when you have the good ones, spoil them. Sometimes I'll just send in even cupcakes from Marianne from my
Yeah.
office to my staff.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I buy them lunch, I buy them breakfast. At times I'll just give all of them a raise, even if it's not Christmas. Once you find good staff, especially if you know that you're not there a lot, you have to treat them well. So Banker says, how do you balance your work and family time plus time with your boo? With time with your boo.
So we just make it work. You know, I have my boo time, I have my family time, and I have my me time. So you just try to fit it. You know, do the best you can. You know, there's not a day that I can do all very well. There's some days that, like for instance, yesterday was like a me and my boo type of day. Like another Saturday might be me and my kids. Like you know, it just find the time to do what's important, right? Because you know, boot time is important, self-care is important, and then time with family is important as well. So kind of try to build it in your day or into your routine. Like I give my kids my weekdays, I give my man my weekends. I mean, that's just an example, but not really. You know, it varies. It depends on what's needed.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Marianne, I have a question for you, and you guys can keep the questions coming, but I have a question for you. What about women who don't have the support of their husbands? This comes up quite a lot with a lot of women. They want to start a business or something. They don't, again, it's not every husband that is going to be 100% on board, but
Yeah.
how do we as
Yeah.
women figure that out? How do we, figure that out? If a husband is like, this business you're talking about, you just want to waste money, it's not going to work, it's a bad idea, but you really want to do it.
You keep going because I can't even sit here and be honest with you and tell you that he feels like 100% about it all the time, because like anytime, you know, things are not going well, you know, he might be quick to say, oh, maybe this thing is not working out, but you know in your heart this is what you want to do and this is what you should be doing. So I think that, you know, as women we have a right to fight for our dreams. We have a right to, you know, as in do the things that make us happy. Yes, you don't, like I said, I was very careful. Like I don't want to do anything that's going to make, you know, make our net worth go down, but at the same time I want to pursue my dreams and I believe in my dreams and I know it can work. So you have to find that fine line. I think we owe it to ourselves. We give so much to everybody else that, you know, a lot of women are quick to not do something because the man is not happy. I think you should, I mean, I don't know what you have to do, but you got to do what makes you happy and you got to do what lights you up. Because if you're not happy, how within yourself, you know, how are you going to be, what are you going to have to give in that relationship too? There's that as well. So there might be communication that needs to happen where it's like, listen, I'm dying on the inside. Without this, I'm dying. I have to do this, you know, and hopefully you guys can reach some kind of consensus. But I don't believe in giving up on one's dreams at all.
Did you guys hear that? I'm moving close to the thing because did you guys hear that? So many of you drop your dreams because of a guy. You don't have to fight about it. You don't have to cause a big whatever about it. Just say, it's very easy. Honestly, it's very easy. Just say, darling, this is my dream. This is something I've always wanted to do. Please allow me to do it. If I fail, fine. If I don't fail, fine. Guys, stop dropping your dreams for men, okay? Your life belongs to you and God. Marriage is togetherness. Marriage is you're meant to live together and do everything together. But honestly, I'm just telling you the truth that your mission in life, okay, when it's all said and done, when Marianne and I are 105 years old and we go back to heaven, back to home. And God says, Marianne and Iyabo, job well done. You baked cakes to make people happy. Iyabo, you were a wonderful coach. You helped to teach women. You helped to heal women. Well done, okay? If I didn't become a coach because of my husband, or if Marianne didn't make celebrations happy for people and she wasted her time on this earth, God will say, did I send you to just obey your husband, obey one person, and let all these millions of people who needed your cake not be happy? Iyabo, did I say you should just listen to one person and leave all these women who needed your healing? No, honestly, I just listened to a church service before I came on here. That's your purpose, guys. Your purpose. And you tell your husband is human. Explain to him that I feel in my heart that this is my purpose, love. Darling, sweetheart, boo. Give him a kiss, hug him, whatever. Say, boo, it's my purpose, boo. I'm going to do my purpose, boo. So,
and I'll tell you this, because my husband we've been together for a long time, right? And in that time, I told you I've had a spa. So, of course, coming here with the bakery business, like what he's kind of waiting for, like, what's the next one going to be? Like, listen, this bakery is it. It lights my fire. This, convince him, because, at the end of the day, it could be this, it could be something else, that, whatever it is that makes you happy, just make sure that you owe it to yourself to do it.
I have another question for you. Total respect for stay-home moms. Total respect for stay-home moms. I cannot do it. I also don't encourage it. It doesn't mean that I don't respect women who do it. I honestly, every woman, you know me, I'll fight for any woman on this earth. However, I don't encourage it. What would you say if there's somebody on this live right now who's watching the replay, who is in, I don't know, her late 20s, 30s, who has 2 or 3 or 4 kids, and who is like, I want to stay home to just take care of my kids full time. I'm going to resign from my job. I just want to stay home and take care of the kids. What would you say? And you may have a different opinion to me. I know what I would tell her, but what would you tell her?
I would say that she needs to make sure that she has a source of income still, like figure out a way to still be able to spend time with her children and perhaps still make money. Maybe it's a home-based business that she does, but I would encourage her, unless she doesn't want to have, some kind of financial security for the future. I mean, I don't know who wouldn't want to be secure in the future, because what if something happens to your husband? What if something happens to your marriage? What are you going to be left with? So yes, I mean, find a way to, if you want to stay home, I mean, I don't really get it, but yeah, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. But definitely in terms of financial security, you should find a way to do something from home that will bring in some income. You feel good. I mean, there's nothing like a woman making her own money and seeing your bank account grow. I mean, why wouldn't you want to do that? What if something happens? Just, I would encourage her to try to do something even from home, because it is possible to run a business from home.
Thank you, because I don't want it to sound like I'm the only one saying it, because because it's always nice in the interim. It's very attractive. I considered it at one point. My ex-husband at one point was trying to make me do it. I remember he was during residency. He was like, why don't you just postpone your residency and let me just finish mine first, since we're having trouble with the kids. And when I said it near my father, my dad was like, Iyabo, pull those ears now and run back to that residency. You're not stopping any residency. We're taking Remy home. If you guys don't have a good nanny, and they came to pick her up. My husband was very upset. Me, I was just smiling. I was happy because I knew Rennie was going home with my mom and dad, and I knew she'd be in good hands. We struggled with finding a good nanny, and it was so expensive. We were in New York then. It was expensive. It was like all our salary going on nanny. So my parents said, we're coming to pick her up. We cannot come to America to come and sit down in New York. It's too cold. But we will take her home for a year. You guys finish your beginning residency and we'll bring her back. And that's what we did. But he was
Yeah.
encouraging me to put my residency on hold while he finished his own.
Yeah.
And my parents said no way. And I'm glad I had parents like that. Honestly,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
glad I had parents like that. So
Mm-hmm.
if you are considering being a stay-home mom,
Mm-hmm.
just give yourself a breath. Contact me. Let me be your coach. I promise you, if you're in your 20s, 30s now, by the time you reach your 40s, 50s, you will not be happy with your decision. Most women, I think there are a few, maybe 2% of women who that's their life mission to just be stay-home moms, but
Yeah.
not many, right? Not
Yeah.
many. So
But what happens when the kids grow up and then they leave the house? What are you left with? You know, you have
that's
to
what
think about
Ronke
that too.
just said. That's what my
Mhm.
friend Ronke just said too. What's gonna happen?
Yeah.
Even before the kids leave home. Once they're
Right.
in middle school, they don't
They really don't need, yeah, right.
yeah, they want in middle school is very important for you to have time with your kids, and that's why it's
Right.
good to work from home. And
Yeah.
COVID has created that situation for us to work
Mm-hmm.
from home. And this is why I'm trying to teach women on how to have online businesses, because there's many people cashing in on online
Yes.
businesses every day, 6, 7, 8 figures. So
Right.
I think that's all the questions I have for you on my paper. Does anybody else have any questions for Marianne? She's busy. We have to let her go. So any other questions? She has told you what her day looks like. She has dropped many gems. Do you guys have, Marianne, what's one thing you know now? Oh, there's one more. What's one thing you know now that you wish you knew when you started your business?
I wish that I knew that it was going to be okay. I mean, there was nobody knows, but I wish that a lot of things I did was out of fear and out of, from a place of lack. So I wish I had been more relaxed with the process in the beginning and given myself grace. Things are going to go wrong. And, I feel like I went through a lot of times when I'll be so sad about certain things. And in the end, it was okay. Things happen, so I wish I knew that. I wish someone had told me then that, this is small. What you're dealing with right now is small. Just give yourself, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. Things are much better now than they were in the beginning. So even if you started out now and things look really rough, just kind of stick with it, because in the end, it gets better with time. I think that's what I'm trying to say.
Why are so many women scared, though, of starting their own businesses, Mary? And many women want it. Many women want the life you have, the life I have, but they just can't do it. Why?
There's a lot of sacrifice involved. There's a fear of failure. There's a fear of lack. There's a fear that they won't make as much, And if you train yourself, like I kind of had to in the beginning, where I was like, listen, this is what I have, and this is what I'm going to work with. I didn't feel like I was missing out on anything. If you have to stay within a budget, or sometimes they're embarrassed that they have to do certain things. Like, I remember like when I would be out, doing deliveries and stuff, and I'm thinking to myself, man, sometimes people don't want to start at the bottom. They just want to be, they like the story fast forwarded and not, sometimes it's a process, you can't, you have to go through the process. And sometimes these days, like certain things that I had to do and I wasn't happy doing it, there are solutions right now to those types of things. So fear is always a big one. Fear of failure.
Wonderful, wonderful. Marianne, I'm going to thank you in a second, but I have to laugh because Virginia, by the way, I didn't even remind everybody, you guys need to sign up for my masterclass. I'm having a masterclass on April 10th. Marianne is free because she's done my coaching and a lot, but she's welcome to sign up as well. But you guys, there are many people on here now who have signed up for my masterclass on April 10th. You know me, those 3 hours, I'm going to just vomit it all out for you. Everything you need. Ask Marianne. I've coached her before. She's taken my online course. I'm just going to vomit it all out for you. Everything you need. Virginia has signed up for my masterclass, and she says, full-time housewife is full-time suffering. Trust me. She's kind of right. She's kind of right, but yeah, it's yeah, Virginia, I agree with you. I don't know how women do it. I can't do it. I love working from home, though.
Yeah.
I do love working from home. I'd rather be in my home and work from home. but I just cannot not have something I'm doing. I'm too restless. I want to do this, do that. I do everything well, though. Don't take my restlessness as I just pick everything. But once I've finished one project and I know it's running on its own, I'm on for the next thing. I'm like, okay, if I can have 10 income streams, I will. I just keep picking, I just keep picking them up. So, Marianne, thank you so much. Everybody's thanking you on here.
Oh, thank you guys. Thanks everyone. And thanks to all my friends that joined in. I see you guys and thanks for being here.
Yeah, somebody is asking, do you have a book you read on your journey that impacted you greatly for your business?
There's this book called E-Myths Revisited, and it's honestly, it works for my business because it was about just putting systems in place so that you have that freedom to do, to not be tied to your business. So I had to read that book a few times to kind of understand like what is it that I can do so that I can have my weekends off, or so that, so that was very helpful. Then Profits First. I think a lot of people have heard about that one, but that really helped me kind of structure my finances in a way where I don't feel any lack, everything's kind of organized. So those two books.
Okay, so very precious. Please go send a DM to Lennox Cupcakes because everybody on here should be following her by now. If you're not yet following her, go and follow her. Marianne, do you deliver out of state or do you deliver outside Atlanta?
Not at this time. So we might be able to ship certain things. We did during the middle of the pandemic, but usually we just do deliveries of our cakes within the city of Atlanta.
What kind of things can you ship out of state? Let's say there's
like
somebody
cookies
here.
and brownies, and kits. We did a lot of kits around the for people to just make their own at home. So we'll ship you everything that you need and you just put everything together.
Okay. All right. So guys, if you want to learn about the books that Marianne read, send her a DM. She'll give you the books. If you live in Atlanta, you can visit her bake shops in person or they can deliver to you, and her delivery service is excellent. But if you're out of state, you can order brownies and cookies. So Easter is coming up, guys. I've already placed my order. In fact, this year, Easter Sunday is also my husband's birthday.
That's
so
awesome.
yeah, April 4th is my husband's birthday. So I've already placed my own order. So you guys, you need to run now to Marianne's page and load her her order page with all your orders. Tell your friends. If you're out of state, order and she'll deliver brownies and cakes to you. Let's help each other, because this way that we're helping each other is how we're going to be able to touch all corners of the world and help all women, whether they're Indian or Asian or Hispanic or Black or white. We need to help each other. I love you all.
Thank you. Love you. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks for having me. It was
fun.
Thank you.
Next week, thanks, Marianne. Next week, and you can go now because I don't want to keep you. But next week, I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to let you go. But yeah. So guys, thanks so much for joining. Next weekend, I have another entrepreneur. I have Jules by Jadot. I have bought many of her dresses and many of her blouses. I used to buy my weave from Jules by Jadot. Her name is Matilda Lambert. I have her next Sunday. So come and join again. I'm going to have more gems for you. This will be on my YouTube. I don't know if the quality will be good enough for my YouTube. I think you're saying it's blurry, but I will post it on my YouTube. You can go and watch the replay there. I love you all guys so much. Take good care. I will see you next Sunday and see you on my page. Thank you. Bye. Happy Sunday. Thanks. You're welcome, guys. Bye-bye. Oh, it cleared up. Yay. I'm glad the blurriness cleared up. Okay, guys. Love you all. Go to my YouTube and watch all my videos. It's Sunday. You need to binge on my relationship and my money videos. Bye, guys. Love you all. Thanks, Titi. Thanks, Alexandria. Bye-bye.